What's going on, guys? Gavin Peacock here. Happy New Year from Flip Society. I'm sitting down with my Timmy's coffee. I have my little cheat sheet right here, and I want to basically divulge and give you all my little secrets on how exactly I went about editing my 365 Days of Awesome video. This is the 7th year doing it. I started about December 1st and pretty much gave up all December, slowly but surely each day, working towards making a final copy. I'm going to pause the video right now. If you haven't seen the original 6, going back, I don't even know what year that is, 2011, going back. If you haven't watched all of those, definitely take your time to get through them. They're the best of all my clips of every year, so if you want to just graze over everything I've ever done on this YouTube channel, you can check it out there, or essentially from day one of me using GoPro. Each one's its own little special gift with a little bit different action, a little bit different style. It's kind of cool seeing the evolution of my editing style and the content I've been shooting. So I just kind of laughed it off. There's a crazy irony that, like, even these little things here as an example, I could probably throw up a 2-minute video on why to use aluminum bolts for your GoPro accessories versus plastic, and probably get more views than I will maybe get for the 365 Days of Awesome. And I know we have the diehard fans out there, the ones that are always watching, but there's like 97% of people watching my videos aren't even subscribers. I won't say subscribe! And aren't clicking. Why? So they're just coming through and taking off mainly for the educational side. Why? So I wanted to do an old school screen record video and actually show you the full process of how I edited 365 this year, and that segues me into the series and the other how-to helpful videos that I have on the channel. Right here on screen I have my full how to edit like a pro playlist. There's 7 parts. I'm essentially going to go through this as like an hour and a half of content. I'll blast through in 10 minutes. And we also have the top 10 GoPro mistakes video that I made. I had the how to keep your footage steady without using a gimbal. I did my tips and tricks for travel videos, little hints to make things a little easier there. And then I even have my super dead easy time lapse video that just shows you straight up how to make a daytime lapse and a nighttime lapse using your GoPro, quick and effectively for that. So utilizing all of that, if you haven't already watched it, go watch it. We're gonna blast through an abbreviated version of how I made the 365. So let's go. Okay, so obviously step 1, as you would see it in my editing series, step 1 is just go out a full year and shoot all your content. This year I tried something different. It will only work if you have tons of hardware or hard drive space, knowing every project I ever made starts with an uncut sequence of just rough clips. There we go. Of just really rough clips, all drawn out, best of the best, knowing every one of my projects had that. Instead of now going back originally finding all the clips in the original folders, I would just come into each project and export, and basically it's called the lossless timeline, which gives you a huge file size but ends up giving you just one video file to work with for that entire project, like our OCR folder. So that was the obstacle course racing championships of the world, the freaking hardest race I did, and probably in the last, well, probably ever. It almost killed me. Instead of having my 199 GoPro separate clips trying to sift through, I now have the uncut timeline of that project file saved as a lossless file here, which is super high quality. I'll get the quality at the very end of this thing. And that enabled me to jump into here and now just slow seek through all the clips together versus hundreds and hundreds of files separately. And your uncut timeline is stuff you think you might use, so it's kind of like your best footage before you narrow it down to the best of the best. So my uncut sequence for 365 is basically all of those things in order. If you have no ordering, no nothing yet, and then you're going to start thinking about the song you wanted to pick, which again takes almost a month in itself of hunting. So that would be the second step. Okay, and if we zoom into this, you're now going to start listening to the song all the time, keep it on loop, and start breaking it down. Again, everything is more detail in my editing series videos. Break it down into its segments. I got a slow start, I got to build up a beat, I got a hammer section of just fast action. It repeats itself twice, so I know I'm going to have 2 lulls, and that's where I chose to put all my slower time-lapse scenery shots versus all the action shots. You're going to start brainstorming structure to your song of where you can sneak in slower clips and where you can sneak in your faster action cuts where pace is going real quick. And that moves on to editing now. We're actually going to be crunching down, taking out clips, working from our uncut timeline, duplicating it to what I call my first cut down. It's right here, cut down, and then working towards a cut down more, and then working towards a final, final sequence. So let's do that. Okay, so looking at my super rough uncut timeline, this is more streamlined this year. I'm getting way better at it. So that gave me 26 minutes of what I already knew was the best of the best clips of those old projects. So I've essentially skipped a full step in here of taking probably like weeks to go through individual clips. I've started with my uncut. Good. Now I'm going to duplicate that sequence over in my project bin, and that is renamed now to cut down. So you'll see there's lots of gaps here where there's parts of files where I've decided to just delete like they're no good. I'm dealing with all these kind of clips you want to start organizing in some sense. So I usually just dedicate video track 2 to scenery shots, video track 3 to the best action shots. And if you go up to 4 here, you'll see, or 4 and 5 are then pulled the best of the best of the best action shots. So if I take them and all start squeezing them together, I know I have a segment of different clips throughout the whole year that are all going to be fast-paced for good sections of the song. And then we can move over to cut down more. So cut down more, you can see suddenly has tons more structure because I started to lay my clips out right in line with the beat. But I'm still dealing with a very rough edit, even though it might look pretty tight and finished. So we get the volume clicking up here. Alright. And then if I zoom out, all my rough is still sitting here and I'm just slowly taking bits, moving them over, working with them and tightening them down to a rough cut beat mix, trying to match them to the beat. In case I forget later, you have, when we're cutting down clips, you have your styles of cuts, and I've mentioned them before. You have match on action to beat, match on sound, match on transition type, on scenery type. You're deciding on that. Sometimes the lyrics in a song bring up, something matches exactly to what you're dealing with in a clip. Again, cheat sheets. I have piles of scribbles of, make a note to myself when you get around to the Europe clips, make sure you pull out, the foot ice slide clip or yada whatever it is, to make sure they work here. I'm not spending any time dissolving, crazy wiping, crazy any of those effects, After Effects wipes, straight cuts. Continuing on. By this point, you've done so much sifting and so much categorizing of clips, all face shots, all high five shots, all your sun lapse, sunset shots, all your sunrise shots, whatever it may be, that you've basically memorized the timeline. So I was now editing this, in my tight start section, knowing these are all my kind of lead-in shots, all my nicest scenery, all my developing shots, not really giving you too much yet, you're just seeing where we've traveled. So you're working more efficiently now than you were lost little bumblebee in the world at the beginning, dealing with all those mass jungles of clips. I've selected most of my pro clips, and now it's just squeezing the smallest amount of that clip that's still usable to get across to the viewer that is what happened. Let's just say, I did a 30-second shot of a waterfall. Well, in the final clip, you're not going to need 30 seconds. You're going to need that 1/8 note beat of your song to show that waterfall, and that's going to be enough for the viewer to see it and get it over with and move on. And that essentially is how your timeline from start goes from an hour long to my finishing was here 4 minutes and 24-second clip. I will literally run through my timeline, hitting play and watching that waveform and making sure those clips, boom, boom, line up on the beat to the song. You're always going to miss 10 of them, so spend time going through it, taking time code notes, at 10 seconds, weird jitter in camera, cut that clip so there's no jitter anymore, etc. Things like that. 2 minutes 10, 2 minutes 15, 2 minutes 12, clips don't match up with the beat exactly, so you make those notes, go back into your master timeline, find those points, you can mark them down like a marker here, find those points and fix the beat, re-export, see if it all works. But after you have everything laser precision down to every peak of every song for clip cuts and you know it's running perfectly, then you go in and you start looking at the actual color look of a clip. And again, the bulk group of editors and you know all you kids working with GoPros aren't gonna have to worry about color correcting any of these clips. Even the file formats don't allow for crazy color depth anyway. But my super secret trick, my quickest fix that I do to most GoPro clips, if I think there could be a little more bang in the shot, is go to my fast color corrector. Boom, you get a little color wheel, which most of the time I don't even care about. Down a little lower is your little saturation wheel. And if I start to scroll this, you know, 157 right away, everyone's looking like a lobster. So you're not caring about crazy saturation, but you could probably be safe and get away with, let's just do a 110. Boop, unnoticeable. Let's do a 120. Boop, unnoticeable. Suddenly, that camera looks more crazy. People are saying, how'd you get so much great color in your shot? I mean, all you've done is tweak a little saturation boost, and that's on all your smartphone options for camera picks. That's everything. Saturation is the #1 quickest, easiest way to make a clip look better. Right now, you can just basically take my word for it, stop sweating over how crazy the quality is going to be of your video, because somewhere downstream, meaning further along, you're going to have no power over the compression that will eventually happen to your video or where your video is being viewed. Brings us to our final clip. Okay, you sit down, you have breakfast, you have a coffee, you watch this through, you look for no tweaks, there's nothing anymore, you can't find any mistakes, and you are ready for upload to YouTube. I told you that somewhere along the line your video is going to get compressed. I wrote down here on my cheat sheet, weather from your original clip can make a clip look crappy versus a sunny day. The actual camera you're using, no one's going to use what actual camera you're using, but that will have an effect on the overall shot, view of your shot. What lens you're using on a bigger camera, 100% makes a difference on how your shot looks. Export settings, again, you can get totally lost in that, and I'm sure there's a million videos that way. And then YouTube compression, I just want to show you here. I exported my 3 GB high quality final video to YouTube and then re-downloaded it using the MP4 download feature, and the same file came back at 73.2 megabytes. Details, a horrible 2,000 kilobytes. So all that hard work you just did for your crazy high quality video is now on YouTube at less than 1/10 of the original quality, whether you see it or not. So it can only look as good as YouTube's going to make it. A lot of people jump elsewhere to give you high quality links to download. But that's it. And then that being said, are people watching it on a tiny smartphone screen? Are they watching it on a ghetto old monitor that's trying its best to do 1080p? Only you will ever truly see your original file clips on your computer, hopefully with a good monitor. Rant over. So in closing, guys, I just want to say thank you all for being fans. That was totally longer than 10 minutes, I'm going to guess, just by doing these rough clips now. But I'm going to start doing a lot more of this. I think I'll almost 50-50 blend my action, adventure, crazy edits with a lot more how-to, because you're obviously here to learn versus just watch. So yeah, please super subscribe, like, and share all these videos. Again, analytics, if just 1% more of you guys subscribed all the way through, I'd be over 150,000 subscribers right now. Why? Which is nuts. So tons of you are just coming in to watch and getting the heck out. Maybe I need to scream at you to subscribe more. Why? Maybe the video should be better. Whatever it is, stay tuned. Flip Society, Gavin Peacock, cold coffee, out. See you guys next time. If you haven't seen all 7, I'd say each one is just a little bit different, unique.